Hey guys, how's it going? It's Baggins here, and today I wanted to make a quick video talking about the new March spoilers without context tweet that just came out on the New World Twitter feed. If you guys want to see the tweet for yourself for whatever reason, I'll put a link to it in the description down below. But there's 3 images in here, and I think each one probably has meaning for what we're going to see in the upcoming March PTR, and then maybe also live on the same month as well, if we're lucky. Now, some of these I think are a bit more obvious than others. Like the first one, we can just knock it out the park. This is obviously the new weapon that's coming into the game, which is the Blunderbuss. I don't think there's really that much else to be said about it. I mean, it is one-handed, but I think you could like hold a Blunderbuss in one hand as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I wasn't really around in the time when Blunderbuss they were used. We have seen Amazon mention this in the past. They mentioned it in the January update video. I'll put a link to that in the description down below, that the Blunderbuss is the next weapon we'll see in the game, probably coming around in March. So this just seemed to line up with that. We've also seen some like data mining on the Blunderbuss in the past. There's a link here. Again, we'll put all these links in the description down below to a bunch of different abilities for the Blunderbuss. And it's going to be said, I am pretty excited for this weapon if it is, you know, these sort of images lend to the imagination of what you could think the weapon would be. You know, we've got a grappling hook, we've maybe got a net shot, some sort of explosive bullet, bombs, lots of like knockback, I'm imagining, and pulling your enemy towards you and like locking your enemy down, so a good range CC weapon. And you've just got to imagine that's what this is. It could be a flintlock pistol, but it just doesn't seem to line up with everything else they've been saying. So yeah, pretty definitively decided that this is going to be the Blunderbuss. As soon as we have any more information on its abilities and what they look like, or we can play with it on the PTR, I'll put a link up in the top right for that one, as well as at the end of the video. Moving on to the next image, we have Isabella with lots of love hearts around her. Now, my suspicion is that this is just a continuation of the main story. They did say in the February update video that they would be sort of wrapping out this end of the story, which includes stuff with Captain Thorpe and with Isabella, who are like the 2 sort of corrupted antagonists right now. Fingers crossed this comes with a new dungeon as well. We have heard some mention of 6 new dungeons coming into the game, one of which is called Isabella's Lair, and that would make sense to link up with this. The only other stuff that I can see in this image is like what looks to be sand or dirt behind her, but I'm gonna go towards sand. And the new region we do know is called the Brimstone Sands, so we're really clutching at straws here, but potentially Isabella in the new zone in the next patch. I think it's unlikely, but you know, if we really lean into it, but most likely it is just you know, a finishing of the story and potentially a new dungeon if we're lucky. Now, the final image here, this is the one that has me the most intrigued, interestingly enough, because I'm not entirely sure what it means. Now, obviously, it is a reference to this meme here of Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man, so they're both the same. And if we interpret that sort of directly, then does that mean that the Marauders are the same as the Syndicate, who are the same as the Covenant? All of the factions are going to be the same? Does this mean that Amazon are going to be doing away with factions and there won't really be this faction combat system in like anymore? Now, I have said a few times on stream now that I do think this actually would be a positive thing for the game. I know a lot of people love their factions. You know, we got the big Covenant banner here, although we have recently got Marauder. I'm sorry, Covenant. But the more that I play the game, the more that I do feel this faction system in the game and the whole map turning one color, it just creates a lot of toxic issues. One thing that would also back up the fact that we're maybe going to see factions being removed is on the Reddit. This guy posted here, factionless PvP update, new icon with patch. So it does seem like they have been updating some aspects of the UI for people who are playing without a faction, including having this little PvP flag symbol. Now, I think this is just the same as the Syndicate here, but a bit grayed out. But I find it kind of interesting that they would bother to change anything on the UI for people without a faction. This could just be them like sort of wrapping something up, or a little bit of extra work that they've done like a long time ago that's now been brought into the patch. Or maybe it is a setup for factionless sort of combat, or some sort of factionless system within the game. Alternatively, I've seen some other people suggest that this means Xbox and PS4 as well. Maybe. I think that's really hard to take away from that. Also, I really don't think the game is ready for a console release yet. Like, this there's so many issues in New World right now that I think if we were just like, gonna say, hey, let's expose it to the console market and all of the issues that would come with porting the game over to console, I've almost got to hope that that's not going to be the case, because I don't think the game is ready for it yet. I do think at some point in the future we could see New World on console. Also, the free-to-play release of New World I do think is another card that Amazon could or might play, but I don't think it's going to be that yet. So the thing that I'm most likely leaning towards is that this means factionless wars and factionless combat, and just generally bringing in a system of removing the Marauders, the Syndicate, and the Covenant from the game. But at the same time, they're still wearing the colors, so I don't know. How does this relate to the Spider-Man meme? Maybe we're just getting too, like, caught up in this, but I'm having a hard time figuring out what else it could be. If you guys have any suggestions or any, like, 200 IQ ideas as to what this particular image means, let me know in the comments down below, and of course, with the Isabella image as well. Is there anything else you guys noticed in here that I haven't spotted, or any significance as to what the love hearts mean? Because I'm not entirely sure if that has any impact in particular on the image. And then, of course, I don't really think there's anything else to be said about this. He seems to have some sort of, like, thing over his sleeve, but I believe that's just part of a cosmetic. I mean, there's like a T on his chest there, and the mask, but I'm gonna assume this is just some sort of armor that is already in the game or is being added to the game. He's pointing, there's a pointing image over the pistol as well, but yeah, it's just a question of, like, how much do we read into this? I think most likely this is just a Blunderbuss reveal. This is Isabella and maybe Isabella's lair, you know, the sort of wrapping up. We're finally going to get to kill Isabella, like, once and for all, like, take her out. And then finally, I'm guessing factionless systems being added into the game. But who really knows on this one? This is the one that I'm still, like, the most unsure about. Anyway, that is the video, guys. I just wanted to have a quick discussion and share with you guys the tweet in case you haven't seen it yet. Once again, links to all the stuff we talked about in the description down below. Let me know what you guys think each individual image means. If there's anything in particular that I've, like, missed out, let me know in the comments down below, as I say. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this one, make sure you go ahead and click the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.